Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining our Winward webinar for today. My name is Ivory, and I will be your moderator for today's presentation. At the end of the presentation, we will take some questions you have. You'll want to enter them into the question box. Make sure that they are detailed and specific, just in case it's a question coming from something that we go over from the start of the presentation. And that will make sure that we know exactly what you're talking about. Any questions that we can't answer today, we can answer them offline afterwards, or you can email support@windwardsoftware.com. And support can help you out with any questions you have. And also, now you can access past webinar presentations on our website. All the presentations are there at www.windwardsoftware.com/webinars. Everything is there. Today's presentation, we're going to be discussing year-end procedures, and our speaker today is Eugene, and he's been a software specialist with Windward Software for over 3 years now. So let's get started. Take it away, Eugene.
Thank you, Ivory, and hi everyone. Again, my name is Eugene, and I will be your presenter for today's webinar. So we will be talking about the year-end procedures. So this webinar, again, will provide an overview of our recommended year-end process with a focus on routines and recommended reports to run every year-end. So first, recommended procedure is to count your inventory. But before that, before I start with the recommended procedures, so again, year ends do not really happen on the last day of your financial year. So you have to wait for your bank statements and last supplier bills to come. So after posting all transactions you are aware of, you will send the information to your accountant and wait for the depreciation, tax planning, and other adjusting entries to be returned to you. By the time you've completed your year end, it would probably be months later. So System 5 allows you to post into previous financial year and reprint all your accounting reports for a prior period. So for example, your year ended last May 31st of 2021. So you can still reprint the balance sheet, the income and expense statement, the aged AP and AR report from May 2021. So some accounting software or systems will allow you to reprint balance sheet and income and expense report, but take note that only very few can allow you to reprint the aged AR and AP reports for a prior period in time. So even if you have bills that are now paid, System 5 will report on the actual status of each customer or supplier for previous dates you will specify. However, when it comes to inventory, it's a bit more complicated. So you have to print the inventory value report on the last business day of your financial year. So that is also given that you have received all the stock and entered all the sales for the day. So this is the most accurate report that you can get for the inventory value for your year end. So once you have printed the inventory value report, you can then advance the financial year and continue selling. So again, going back to the recommended procedures, first one is count inventory. So you count your inventory days or weeks prior to your year end. So you have to adjust the quantities recommended to check. You need to adjust the quantities, and we recommend you to check one subcategory per day. So this is just to prevent you from doing too much work on the last day of the year. So if your inventory processes are done properly, so that means you've done your inventory procedures correctly, like you've really reconciled everything. So all you need to do during your year end is just to print the reports. So you may check our inventory reconciliation article or solution in the Winward support portal, or if you have access to the Winward Wiki or Winward Learning Academy, we also have some resources there that you can access. So second is add or receive the new stock that has arrived. So you need to make sure that all your inventory that came in are entered and received into stock. So meaning all POs must be received if they're really supposed to be received already. So number three, close all the sales. So this is to ensure that all sold items are taken out of inventory, so taken out of stock before you print your inventory report. Fourth is print the inventory valuation reports. So you need to print the reports that will tell you how much inventory you have on hand. So these are in stock items. So you can print a detailed inventory list. So we have a stock and landed value report that can help you. So it has all the list of inventory items or just a summary by subcategory. So I can show you where to find that report. So let me just try to go to my demo first. So in System 5, you have your inventory and purchases inventory reports. And if you click on print inventory reports, you have their stock landed value. So this is a pre-designed report that you can just run. So in here, I don't have any filters. So this is going to run for all categories, no supplier or brand specific, no any other filters. And then you can, decide to change the defaults here. It's up to you. But for this one, I'm just gonna hit view. So here you will see all your inventory items, the part number, category description, the financial quantity, its landed, appropriate landed prices, and the total. All right. So also, apart from this one, you can run your inventory report. Inventory value report, which can be found also under the inventory reports. So here there are lots of report settings that you can enable or disable. It depends on how you need the report to be. So you can be as detailed as possible. So just click the appropriate boxes. And then if you have departments, you can choose all departments. And right now this is currently selecting all the categories, but you can be category specific if you want by batch. So here I'm just going to load this so that you can see how it looks. So again, inventory value report should be run at the end of your financial year because that's going to be the most accurate report that you can get for the inventory value. So in here you can see that it listed all my inventory by category. And at the bottom, it will give you the total value for your inventory, your financial stock value, the available stock value, and the quantities. So again, this needs to be printed or generated at the end of your year end. So some of you might be wondering about the backdated inventory value because we have encountered a lot of questions about this one when they were trying to generate their inventory value report. So there are some people who missed running the inventory value at the end of their year. So the tendency is that they would go here, do the backdated inventory value. So this is not a very accurate result. Accurate report rather. So we would not recommend this for accounting purposes because backdated inventory could be affected by any adjustments that happen along the way. So that's why you will get inconsistencies in the report. So you need to really use the inventory value at the end of your year end. So, apart from that one, you also need to make sure that you assess your open work orders or layaways as they contain work orders or inventory items that are reserved for work orders. So these are stocks that didn't really leave your inventory, so they were still being considered as stocks that you have in possession. So to find that, you can go to, let me see, here. So under accounts receivable, you have your AR reports, and then you have your list open work orders and layaways. So for this example, I'm going to run this for this year, and you have the option to choose work orders, or if you want to include layaways, you can also do so. And then again, you can be specific with your options. So you can do item detail and all departments, depends. Or for this example, I'm just gonna focus on work orders. I'm gonna run this. All right, so here it will list all the work orders that you have on in the system. So you need to assess if those work orders should be flipped to AR already, especially if they are all, I mean, the items in the work order are all delivered to the customer and the work order is already paid in full. So you need to flip that to an AR so to complete the transaction. But if not, yeah, you can leave them as a work order. So here you can select work orders and then you can convert them to AR. So again, you need to assess and make sure that valid work orders stay as work orders and fully paid and fully delivered items needs to be flipped to AR so that they leave your inventory. So going back here, so fifth is backup data. So this is one of the most important steps or important procedures that you need to do, especially during year end. So you need to secure a backup of your data so that if in case you missed something, you can check the backup. So uh, just like what I said earlier about the inventory value report that you need to run at the end of your year. So if you miss that and then you have secured your backup, so you can revert back to your backup and run the inventory value. So that's why backups are really important. And then for cloud customers, even though we secure backups on a daily basis, I would still suggest you secure your own separate backup so that if in case something goes wrong or you've missed something, you can just go ahead and pull up your backup and then do whatever you've missed and run reports that that you need. All right, so that's for the backup. And then for the next one, we have advanced financial year. So this is when you set up the next financial year so that you can continue selling and input transactions. So if your financial year setup is not yet defined for your next financial year, the tendency is that the system won't allow you to do any transactions. So you will be restricted. So just to show you where to find the setting for advancing financial year, I'm just gonna, yeah, I'm just gonna show you where to find it. So it's under Setup Tools, Setup Wizard. All right, and then General Accounting, and then you have your financial years. So here you can see that I have already defined my next financial year. So that means that I'm good to go, yeah, with creating transactions for the next year. So you need to make sure that your financial years are correctly set up. All right, so that's for the advanced financial year. So next is keep working and do not get behind. So it's important to keep up to date on all your daily work, such as creating invoices and bills. So for the bills, bills that are for inventory received in previous years should be posted back into the previous years. And if you have bills for inventory received in the new financial year, so they should be posted into the new year. And then you need to also write off bad debts, reconcile your bank, and do all the other things needed for the end of the previous year. Next one is check the inventory value. So I've discussed this earlier. So once you have all the bills for inventory received in the previous year, and then you then print the balance sheet and compare the inventory ledger to the inventory value, and their values should match. So that's ideally speaking. So yeah, what's the difference between inventory value and inventory ledger? So some of you might be confused about that one. So just to give you an example, so here's my demo. So when you say inventory ledger, it is referring to your inventory ledger that can be found in your balance sheet. So usually it's your 1200 ledger number. So here's my inventory ledger. And then for the inventory value, so that is different. So it is what the system thinks that you have. So inventory value again can be found under inventory reports. So here's my inventory value. All right. So inventory value, if you have adjustments or manual stock adjustments, but are not supported with journal entries, so they could cause a mismatch between your inventory value and inventory ledger. So that is why it's very important that you create bills from your purchase orders, because whenever you receive items from your purchase order, the system already increased your inventory value. But if you missed creating the bill for for that PO, that will cause you to have a mismatch between your inventory value and ledger. But if you were able to create all necessary bills for all the POs that you receive, and then you do not do any manual stock adjustments, or if in case you do have manual stock adjustments, you need to support that with appropriate journal entry to fill in the inventory ledger so that your inventory value and ledger will match. So in my demo, let's see if I'm balanced. So this is my inventory value. So you can see here I have 331,256, I mean 258.60, but in my balance sheet, I only have 10,000. So that means I'm not doing my inventory correctly. So you need to assess and review your processes and make sure that, you know, you fix issues. So it's either you've missed creating bills or missed creating the adjusting journal entries. So again, we have a separate or yeah, we have separate webinar in the past that you can review for inventory consolidation, or you can access our resources online. So we have the wiki page, Winward Learning Academy, and if in case you need some more assistance, you can call support so that we can help you track what caused your discrepancy between these two values. So next one is, let's see. So next one is print and check the balance sheet. So make sure that there is no proof. So some of you guys might be already familiar with this. So make sure that there's no proof amount at the bottom of the report. So again, if I pull up my demo, my balance sheet here has no proof. So some of you guys might notice that additional line at the bottom shows a proof with an amount. So that means that there's something wrong that needs to be fixed. So proof, by the way, is the difference between the assets, so this, and the liabilities plus the equity. So yeah, they should be the same. So this should be equal to the sum of these two. If there's a difference, then that will be your proof. So you can run your test proof to locate when the proof started, and then from there, once you've determined when it started, it'll be easier for you to track the issues. But more, if you need more help, further assistance about that, you can call support so that we can help you out. So next one is print and check the income and expense report. So the total profit in the year to date should be equal to the current earnings on the balance sheet. But if it's not equal, you may have added some ledgers since the last time you created the report. So next one is print and check the aged AR report. So this will show you the total amount owed to you by your customers. The total at the bottom of the report should match the value of the AR in your balance sheet. So let's check my demo. Let's see if my AR is matching with my aged AR. So here's my balance sheet, and my AR is, let me see. Okay, there's my AR, 1050, and I have 750.26. So if I run my aged AR, all right. So by the way, you have this report is, it depends on the way your system is set up. If you have deposits on work orders, you need to make sure that only the first box is ticked. But if you do not, but if you do not have a deposits on work orders ledger, you need to leave the boxes as is. So for this one, let me show you just a proof that I have a deposits and work orders. So it's 2055. It's right there. So I'm making use of that. So I will make my settings just like this one. Only the first box is ticked. So you calculate, and then here I got 7750.26, which matches my AR. So that means I'm good with my AR. So if you have a mismatch, again, you can call support so that we can help you out and help you out trace what's causing the discrepancy and fix those issues. So next one is the aged AP report. So same thing, you need to make sure that your aged AP matches your AP ledger in your balance sheet. So discrepancies, again, needs to be traced, and again, you can call support for further assistance. So number 13, send reports to your accountant. So you need to send your balance sheet, income and expense report, aged AR and AP reports, inventory value report, basically all reports that are needed by your accountant. And then again, yeah, but just to let you know that you are able to export all reports in System 5 to Excel. So to do that, you can just right click on the results page and you have there an option to export to Excel. And then you can send the Excel spreadsheet to your accountant. Number 14, final adjustments. So when your accountant is done, you will get a list of adjusting entries for depreciating some of your assets and other calculations that are important. So you need to create these adjusting journal entries and post them to the last day of your previous financial year. So whenever you do this, backdating transactions, you need to make sure that your date matches your book month, because there's a tendency that when you backdate, the book month doesn't follow the new date. So you need to make sure that the book month matches. Okay, so that is just also to prevent issues. All right, so that's for the recommended procedures. So next, closing minimum book month. So what is book month? Book month is the accounting period to which the system posts transactions. So minimum book month, uh, this will prevent users from editing transactions posted prior to the set minimum book month. So you can find minimum book month in this path here: menu or navigator, setup tool, setup wizard, general accounting, minimum book month. So let me show you. So again, this is under setup tools, setup wizard, and then general accounting, minimum book month. So currently I have my minimum book month set to January of 2021. So that means all the users are unable to edit and modify transactions from my last financial year. So December of 2020 backwards. So they're locked. So you can decide on whatever minimum book month you can set this with. So yeah, this is just to secure that none of your transactions, especially the ones from the previous years, will be edited or deleted or whatever. So they will stay secured. Okay, so that's for closing the minimum book month. So okay, that ends our presentation. So now we are now in our question and answer portion. Ivory.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Eugene. And there was a question earlier, but about how do you do a backup for what do you call this, for the for cloud, which basically I've helped or I've answered that one offline by doing some by calling support specifically on the technical and cloud department. They will be able to help you on how to do the backup if you're in cloud. And at the same time, if there is a also a question that asks if they will be able to get a copy of this webinar via email, yes, you will be. And also you can access past webinars at www.windwardsoftware.com/webinars. That's the website. You can be able to access past webinars in there and also this webinar, because this will be uploaded shortly after this presentation. Okay, Eugene, we have our first question here
Mhm.
is yes, will these slides be made available after the meeting?
Yes.
Yes, Bob, Yes, the slides, basically the PowerPoint
It's
presentation
gonna
will
be
not be
video.
available, but the video of the presentation will be available after this webinar. It's going to be uploaded shortly, I guess. It's just in less than 15 minutes, it should be available, so you can access them on the website I've said earlier at www.windwardsoftware.com/webinars. And again, the next question, what can you do with untagged POs?
Untagged POs. All right. So yeah. Basically, you need to retag them, especially if you have already bills created for those POs. So you need to revisit those bills. So you need to open the bill, edit, and then you have a POs tab there. So you can put a check mark beside the PO that should be tagged to that bill. So that will then link them together. So yeah, it's really important to attach your POs to your bills. So you can run your bills and PO reconciliation to have a list of those links, and then you can relink them. And then moving forward, you need to make sure that whenever you create bills, especially for purchase orders, you need to always link them together. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, very well, Eugene. Again, next question is what are the most common mistakes new users makes on first year of year end process?
Interesting question. Well, let me think. Well, that actually depends. There are lots of possible mistakes that they can do, but you just need to make sure that you lock your minimum book month. That's maybe one of the very important things that you need to do to make sure that users won't be able to accidentally edit or delete transactions from the previous year, because you need to make sure that all those transactions are secured. So make sure that you set your minimum book month correctly. Yep.
Thank you, Eugene. And if I may add, also from my experience, the common mistakes the new user make on their first year-end process is not creating a backup, because that's also very important that you have a backup just in case you wanted to make sure to pull up your um, inventory value, because our inventory value in the system is real time. So you cannot, if you're going to run that report after the year end, that's going to be the value at the moment you run it. So backup is really important. But
Yeah, I would
thank you,
agree.
Eugene, for that answer. And another question is, there are from a different year end. Oh, that is the this is a follow-up question on the previous one regarding the untagged POs. And she said they are from different year end and prior to the current minimum book month.
Okay. So just to let you know, when it comes to purchase orders, so again, they are only affecting your inventory value, and then they're date specific. And then for the bills, same thing. They're date specific. So if you will relink them together, it won't hurt your numbers. So you can just go ahead and open the minimum book month of the bill that you wanted to relink the PO. So you can definitely do that, but still, I would suggest you to create a backup just in case your numbers will change, because we don't know what's gonna happen. But ideally, it should not hurt, because then again, they're already posted. The bills posted to the date, and then that should have already added to your ledger numbers during that time. So linking won't hurt, but then again, just secure a backup. That's a very important thing before doing so. Yeah. And then always
Okay,
don't forget to lock again your minimum book month.
thank you, Eugene. And also, a follow-up question, what if some of those untagged POs are very old and we simply
Mm,
need to delete them?
well, there's no way for us to delete those purchase orders because they play a vital role in contributing to your inventory value. And then you cannot just delete a PO. By the way, we cannot delete POs, especially if they're completed. So what you can do for those old purchase orders, I would suggest you just create a bill, a dummy bill. You can choose whatever ledger of your choice. You can do maybe an expense account, or maybe you can consult your accountant. So create a dummy bill and then attach all those old POs just for the sake of them being attached. But then again, you need to consult your accountant about that one. And then again, create a backup so that in case something is not right, you can just revert back to the way it was. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, another one. Yeah, I believe you can be able to show this one real quick, Eugene. She asked, how do you open up the minimum book month?
Oh yeah, how? Yeah, it's just again as what I've showed earlier. You need to make sure that you have full access to the system because if you don't, you won't be able to do this. So again, menu or navigator, you have your setup tools and then setup wizard, and then inside setup wizard, you have your general accounting. So within that, you have your minimum book month. So here you can specify what month you would like to have open, and then whatever the previous month or the prior month um, from that month, they're locked. So for this one, January 2021, that's open. December, which is the previous month, is locked and backwards. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, another one, Eugene. It's a follow-up with regards to the PO. What do you mean when you can't delete a PO? If you haven't received it and made an error, are you not supposed to delete it?
Oh, that's a different one. So if you have POs that are sent but didn't receive at all, I would suggest you to complete those purchase orders. And to do that, you need to receive at zero. So receiving zero won't add anything to your inventory. It will just complete the PO. So that means that, the PO was sent, but you never received it. I hope that answers the question.
And also to add to that, if the PO is still, if you haven't sent it, obviously you can always delete it anytime.
Oh yeah, that's
But
correct.
yeah,
Pending
if the
ones.
PO, yeah, if the PO has been sent, there's also an option for you to unsend it and delete it, but you should have an supervisor override option for you to be able to do that. But make sure that none of the items from the PO has been received yet. It's if it's only active or if it has been sent but nothing has been received yet, there is still an option for that to delete. But again, it
Yeah.
doesn't hurt if it's not been sent because it's not going to affect your inventory if it hasn't been received yet. But
Yep.
if the purpose
Correct.
is just to delete that whole PO, then you still have the options. And also, one of the other options that Eugene said is that you can receive them in zero quantity and it will not affect your inventory at all. Okay, another question is when you do minimum book month, is it the month of your year end or the next month? Example, year August 31st is the year end.
Well, it's actually your discretion. You have the option to decide whatever month you will put in your minimum book month, because there are some businesses that they always practice advancing their minimum book month. But if you are the type of business that regularly does backdated transactions, so you can specify your needed month for you to still be able to backdate transactions. But yeah, it's again your discretion. You can have it with the current month. You can also have it on the very first month of your financial year. But again, it really depends. It's your discretion, really. Yeah.
Okay, another one, Eugene, if you haven't logged your previous year and accidentally open an old invoice when it was closed, it closed to current year.
No, unless you change the date. I'm sorry. When you say close, are you referring to flipping invoices? Because that's another thing. But if you're just opening the invoice and then closing it without doing anything else, like flipping or changing dates, then that's fine. But if you flip invoices, like flipping it back to work order, flipping it back to AR, that will log the dates when you flip them. So you flip the work order, change it to AR today, it will have today's date. But you can always have the option to backdate that. So if in case you need to backdate, so you can backdate. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, another one, if I change the minimum book month once year end is submitted, can I go back in and change the minimum book month to post the adjusting entries?
Yeah, you can definitely do that.
And another one, if but then you would have the inventory in your stock. I think this is something to do with the questions about deleting PO by
Again,
Tiffany.
purchase orders affect only if you receive items. So it will affect the inventory value, but if you're not receiving anything, it won't hurt anything, even your inventory value, because none of the items are received. So yeah,
Okay, so another question here. How do you reconcile AR and AP balances from the balance sheet to the subledgers if they do not agree?
yeah. So that is something that needs to be investigated. It needs to be traced, so it would require time. So I can really demonstrate because my demo here shows a matching figures. So if you need support or help for that one, you can call the regular support line, send in the ticket, and then we will try to see yeah, what caused the discrepancy. Or if it's really major, um, you can refer to your account manager and avail our professional services so that our professional services team can do it for you.
That's right. And also, there's if you only wanted to know how to do a reconciliation for AP and AR that doesn't match from the balance sheet to their subledgers, there's also a past webinar that you can watch and how to do that. That will be very helpful for you in knowing how to do a simple reconciliation. And if it's a big of an issue, you can always call support and ask for help. Another one, Eugene, where can I find all the possible untagged POs?
Again, I've mentioned that earlier that you can run your bills and PO reconciliation. So you have the option there to, yeah, you have options there depending on what you need. So for untagged POs, yeah, just make sure that you're clicking the appropriate options and it should be able to list you or generate a list of those untagged POs.
Okay, thank you. And another question, if your landed cost is wrong, how can you change it? The system doesn't seem to allow it.
All right, I think that's something that you need to call in for support. That's very specific now. Yeah, it's a very specific one. Yeah. So I would suggest you to call support and get further assistance.
That's right. Okay, last three questions. Last two questions. If I advance year end by accident, it can be moved back.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Yeah, I think he already figured it out. But I think that's all for the questions. And again, Tiffany, I know that there's some gotta be some more clarity onto your questions that you wanted us to know. But I would suggest that you call support to get a specific answer to your questions. Um, Again, you can email support at windwardsoftware.com, or you can call us right away so you can get assistance.
All right. And by the way, guys, again, we have resources available online. So here are the list of websites that you can go to. So we have our help center, customer care portal. We have the Winward Learning Academy, and then also again, as what I've mentioned earlier, if you need really a big of assistance, then we have our professional services team. So you can definitely avail those services. So just contact your account manager for the quotation, and then we also have emergency support. So and also our webinar archives. So I've already mentioned that earlier that you can go to windwardsoftware.com/webinars so that you can access previews and future webinars. So they will all be there. And yeah, that's it.
Okay. Thanks for that, Eugene. And if there's any other questions that you might remember, or you can be able to pull up later after this presentation, please email support@windwardsoftware.com. And just a reminder that our past webinar, you can access them on the through the website at www.windwardsoftware.com/webinars. And also, would like to invite you for our next webinar presentation, which will be on November 18. And we will be discussing physical inventory count troubleshooting. Again, that is a very helpful webinar presentation for the most of you guys who will be going to go through the year end on the by the end of this quarter. And also, again, thank you so much, guys, for joining us. And thank you, Eugene, for giving us this presentation. And we will see you again, everyone, in 2 weeks. Have
Thank
a
you,
wonderful
Ivory.
evening.
Thank you,
Thanks.
everyone. Take care. Bye bye.